Hello learners, welcome to NIS Studio. Today we will discuss a lesson which is based on environmental science course of NIS, that is senior secondary course, and we have already discussed our previous program about origin of earth and evolution of environment. As we know that human beings means Homo sapiens sapiens evolved more than 2 years ago, 2 million years ago. When humans evolved more than 2 million years ago, the natural resources were overabundant as compared to human needs, because population is very less. As human population is increased, more and more food and resources for shelter were required, and these were drawn at an alarming rate from the environment. And even today, natural resources are being exploited by human beings to meet their needs. So, I am Neelam Gupta, course coordinator of environmental science. Welcome to you all in this program. So, we will discuss about how human activities degrade and deplete the natural resources of the environment. So, now come to the objectives of the today's program. This is lesson number 3, degradation of natural environment. So, objective first, concept of environment degradation and factors that cause it. How exploitation of natural resources leads to environmental degradation and factors that cause it, how population growth, deforestation and urbanization had adversely affect the environment, and how mining and modern agriculture has adversely affected the environment. We will also discuss about impact of industrialization on environment, including its biotic and abiotic resources, and lastly, we will discuss about local, regional and global backlashes that caused by environmental degradation and how environmental degradation impact on our life too. So, first we will talk about the concept of environmental degradation. We know that what is environment? Surroundings or condition in which an organism lives and operates, that is termed as environment, and environment has two components, that is biotic, includes plants, animals, microorganisms and humans too, and abiotic substances like air, water, soil, temperature, humidity and substrate. So, we humans also interact the component on So, we will talk about concept of environmental degradation. We know what is environment, surroundings or conditions in which an organism lives and operates, that is environment, and environment has two components, that is biotic and abiotic. Biotic component includes plants, animals and microorganisms and humans too, and abiotic components or substances are air, water, soil, temperature, humidity and substratum. And we humans are also interacted the component of or natural resources of environment, but increasing use of natural resources by rapidly increasing human population has resulted in over exploitation of natural resources. So, in general, if we want to talk environmental degradation, it means it is the deterioration of the environment through depletion of resources such as air, water and soil, and destruction of ecosystem and extinction of wildlife life. If we want to say general, what is environmental degradation? But in case of definition of environmental degradation, it means it is defined as any change or disturbance to the environment perceived to the deleterious or undesirable. It is caused by the combination of an already very large and increasing human population, continually increasing economic growth and application of resource depletion and polluting technology. So, now we will come to the next section of this discussion, that is reckless exploitation of natural resources led to environmental degradation in nature. So, we all know nature has its own ecological balance. and interaction between abiotic and biotic components make an equilibrium in nature, and uncontrolled human activities cause damage to the environment and interfered with this equilibrium, and we poke our nose, and that is the result is environmental degradation. So, we can take some examples of human activities that led to the environmental degradation. That first, forests have been cut for cultivable fields, for building, construction, housing, making furniture, shelters, fuel and many more things, construction of rail lines, mining, construction of roads, cutting forests to convert agriculture field, cutting forests reduce rainfall in the areas, and use of non-renewable energy resources. These are also the factors to lead environmental degradation. Before going ahead of this discussion, first we would like to explain what is nature. What do you understand? Nature, mountain, in general we talk mountain, sea, river, lake, forest and plains, all are included in nature. Humans have over the years increased alarming in number, and we have more than 6 billion. Forests have been cut to make place for human habitation, cultivation of crops, erecting these industries and using wood for fuel and furniture. So, what do you think? Forests are being cut down for building material, for furniture, for agriculture, for pasture and for wood, for fuel. So, when we cut enormous plant, then we lead to deforestation. So, look at previously there was a huge forest or jungle, but when trees are cut, then it will become barren or denuded, and this leads to deforestation. So, deforestation means removal of tree. If trees are not there, then carbon sinks take away, trees are carbon sinks and take away carbon dioxide, that is a greenhouse gas. For plants use carbon dioxide for photosynthesis or food making process. Suppose no tree, then what will happen? Carbon dioxide accumulates in the atmosphere and this causes global warming, and when tree is not there in the forest, then roots we know roots of the tree holds the soil in place. If no tree, then if no tree, then frequent soil erosion and landslides to be seen. And also evapotranspiration is an event of the water cycle. So, again no tree, then no transpiration, and so no rain. So, next we will talk about soil erosion. Trees lose lots of water through transpiration, and this helps in forming rain clouds. Yes, you see hydrological cycle. Cutting of trees and clearing of forests reduce rainfall in the area. Also removal of plants and trees leads to soil erosion. Next factor will be for wildlife. If no forest, because we know forests are the natural habitats of wildlife. If no forest, then extinction of wildlife species is on the rise, and their natural habitats are being destroyed due to deforestation. So, most of the wildlife species are in the alarming rate of extinction, or some are already extinct. Next, energy resources. We know energy, prime resource of energy is sun, and energy resources are two types, renewable and non-renewable. Overuse of non-renewable energy resources such as coal, natural gas and petroleum are leading to their depletion. When we cut forests, we are facing soil erosion, deforestation, accumulation of carbon dioxide, and on the other hand, when we use these all resources, then we pollute our natural environment, because due to excessive burning of coal, wood, kerosene, petrol, they all release toxic gases like sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons in the air, and these gases are also emitted by industries, power plants, automobiles and aircrafts, because they all are used non-renewable resources, that is coal, petrol and natural gas. The toxic gases pollute air, which adversely affect human health as well as plants too. Then when we use non-renewable resources, so then as we move to industries, so we mine, we remove, we emit toxic waste, so acid water from mines, toxic waste of industries, chemical fertilizers and pesticides coming from agricultural fields have polluted our rivers and other water bodies. Next, when these water come to the soil, so the problem of soil pollution is increasing day by day in our villages, cities and industrial areas due to faulty disposal of solid and liquid waste generated from households and industries. Next, so we can say we have spoiled the environment by depleting natural resources to a critical level and causing pollution to natural water bodies and land area. So now we move to the next section of this discussion, that is impact of population growth on environment. So we all know more than when agriculture begins in year 12,000 years ago, 5 million people lived in the world at the time. The population in our country alone is now well over 1 billion, and in around the globe we are more than 6 billions. So it means enormous increase in human population is making the future of humans insecure. So there are some factors leading to rise in population are improved agriculture protection helped in increased for population and thus more food became available. Progress in medical science not only prevented death due to epidemics and injuries, but made early diagnosis and treatment of diseases possible. So longevity increased. Next, impact on population. When population increase, then this impacts also reflect on our environment. With growing population, requirement for space, shelter and commodities have exerted enormous pressure on the environment, and to provide for these, land use has changed dramatically. It has already been seen that forests have been cleared for cultivation of grains and food crops to fulfill our basic needs. Clearing land for cultivation to grow more food. So we converted natural grasslands and forests into farmland. Wetlands also has been drained and arid land also been irrigated, and we all do these adverse things. These changes have made to grow more food and more raw materials, but in doing so the natural resources have been depleted and the landscapes have undergone drastic changes. We can take example of forest. Forests have been cleaned over large for cultivation of agricultural crops. Many mangrove forests known to reduce erosion and stabilize shorelines have been cleared, used for growing food crops to meet the need of the growing population. Second, we population rises, then we were facing water scarcity. Water received as rainfall flows into river, lakes and other water bodies, and some of it seeps into the ground and reaches the up groundwater at certain depth of the soil. All the pore space between soil particles were saturated with water, and this depth is known as water table edges. Water table may remain stable if the drawn from the groundwater is replenished by the seepage of the rainwater. But if water withdrawal exceeds beyond the rate of the replenishment of the groundwater table, keep on receding and resulting in drying out of wells. So, in many areas excessive withdrawal of water has depleted groundwater resources, causing acute water scarcity, and we all are facing water scarcity in urban as well as rural areas too. Next, we need increased population, we need human settlement or shelter. So, apart from excessive land use changing for growing food, large population means greater requirement for shelter. To make houses for so many stones and other building materials have to be quarried, more rocks have to be blown off and more water to be used. More population, we need more transportation. So, elaborate network of transport is required to fulfill the growing needs of teeming millions. Various modes of transports have been developed which consume growing quantities of fossil fuels such as coal, gas, petroleum. They are all non-renewable sources, and excessive use of fossil fuels, it leads to polluting the environment. And we also need more commodities to fulfill all our requirements. So, articles of everyday use such as plastic vessels, mug, bucket and many more, agriculture implements, machinery, chemicals, cosmetics are manufactured in factories. So, raw material and fossil fuels and water are needed to run industries for manufacturing these products, leads to their depletion, and rapid industrialization has also led to pollution from dumping of industrial effluents into river and other water bodies too. So, rapid industrialization has caused much damage to the environment. Mining activities have depleted stock of mineral resources, particularly fossil fuels, and present scenario, industrial civilization is becoming a burden on nature, and it is time for us to learn to live in harmony with nature. Growing population, everybody has no shelter, so slum development is going on near the periphery of the cities or urban areas or metros. So, overpopulated area results in congested road and slum formation which lack basic amenities like drinking water, drainage, sewage, waste disposal, lack of hygienic conditions and filthy environment create potential conditions for public health problems including spread of epidemics, discharge of untreated effluents and throwing of waste into water bodies have polluted most of our lakes and rivers. So, next, pollution resulting from overpopulation. So, our holy rivers are also suffering from population due to discharge of effluent without treating effluent from industries, human settlements, bathing, washing of clothes and throwing of garbage into the river. So, now we will discuss about deforestation and its consequences. We know forests are found all over the world except the polar regions. Originally, forest covered 1/3 of the land area, and you have already learned that since the beginning of the evolution, human evolution basically, primitive humans have depended on the forest resources, and forests are nature's major processor of solar energy. They provide habitat for diverse kind of organisms including large wild animals. Primitive humans too lived in forest and were completely dependent on forest for survival till they took to farming. So, deforestation means cutting of forest is known as deforestation, and deforestation has taken place for various purposes at an alarming rate in different parts of the world, resulting in severe loss of wildlife, plants and animals. And there are several causes of deforestation. First, developmental activity, timber and wood for pasture, for shifting cultivation, for agriculture too. So, as human beings leading a settled life, crop fields, building roads, industries, schools, hospitals, railways and irrigation canals become necessary developmental activities. So, forests were cleared to meet the need for land, for all these activities, buildings, crops, fields, road, industries, school, hospital, railway track and many other. Second, for timber and wood. Wood is used in building construction, making furniture and other articles for human use, and trees also yield wood grow in forest and were cut down for timber. And previously we used firewood for cooking and heating, and this also contribute to deforestation. Third one, for pasture. Forests were cleared to grow grasses and converted into grassland for grazing by cattle. Shifting cultivation is also one of the reason. Shifting cultivation is a system of crop cultivation involving clearing of forest and burning the fallen trees to clear the land for raising crops, and this is continued process. Due to this, every year a new forest area is cleared for cultivation and some cycle is repeated. So, now we move to the consequences of deforestation, and these consequences are soil erosion, silting, climate change, loss of carbon dioxide, biodiversity and landslide. So, first we will talk about soil erosion. Trees intercept rainfall and cutting of trees and removal of plants leads soil erosion. Plant roots hold the soil in place, and with loss of protecting cover of plants, topsoil that is rich in organic matter is washed away and the soil loses its fertility. Second, landslide. Removal of trees from forest leads to soil erosion and ultimately causes landslide in hilly areas, and recently you have so many examples of landslide in hilly areas. This is because roots of trees hold the soil in position. So, tree prevents soil erosion, roots of trees especially. Silting, the loss of trees from forest also causes silting of rivers as lakes, as loose soil get washed with water and reaches water bodies. When we cleared forest, so we lost wildlife as well as their wild habitats. We know wild animals live in forest. Cutting forest means loss of their habitat, which in turn render them endangered or even extinct. Deforestation also leads to climate change and result in change of climate, since trees make the surroundings humid. Also, transpiration from plant makes rain clouds and rainfall is reduced due to deforestation. Loss of carbon dioxide sink is one another consequences. Pollutants which are released by industries, these carbon dioxide is taken up by trees. When forests are denuded, this carbon dioxide sink is lost and carbon dioxide collects in the environment, and impact is in the form of global warming. Deforestation also another consequence of deforestation is pollution. When trees are cut to use for making furniture or paper, sawmill and paper mills pollute water in which they dump the waste. when we cut the forest, trees of forest, so we lost some medicinal and other useful plant too. Unique medicinal plants grows in certain forests and they are lost due to deforestation. Aromatic herbs, rubber trees and other useful plants are also lost due to deforestation. So, we can say forest destruction leads to a large scale environmental degradation. So, now we move to another section, that is environmental degradation through mining. We know mining is a process of extracting valuable minerals and geological materials from the earth's surface and is a significant part of the global economy affecting other industries like chemical manufacturing and energy production. And mining is required to obtain most materials that can't be grown or created in a laboratory or factory. So, some examples of material that are mined includes coal, diamond, metallic ores, oil, gold, silver, platinum, copper, tin and iron. So, now we move to environmental degradation from mining. So, when we mine, we lost vegetation or biodiversity. Vegetation and soil are removed by using heavy machinery to get access to mineral deposits. As large areas are cleared by the purpose, it leads to the loss of biodiversity of the area. Second, depletion of minerals. We know earth is a rich deposit of metal and minerals resources. India also has a large share of these resources and these all minerals are non-renewable resources. So, in the last 200 years, advancement in mining technology has progressively intensified mining of mineral resources. Large amount of lead, aluminum, copper, zinc, tin will be depleted to an alarming level if their exploitation continues at the present rate. Dumping debris are also cause of environmental degradation, and extraction of mineral from earth also produces significant amount of debris. Often it is much more than the quantity of mineral obtained. This dug out waste material is dumped on the adjacent land. Large scale logging is carried out to create the space of dumping, and these waste dumps also become source of soil erosion and contamination of water bodies. Land subsidence is also one of the cause of mining. Excessive mining, especially underground mining, lead to gradual sinking of the area and may also cause landslides. This landscape too is spoiled unless care is taken. Not only minerals will be depleted, but also large land areas which otherwise could be used productively is due to dumping of mining waste. So, we are taking a smaller break this time. We will meet again after a little while.
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
धन साधन समेटी सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने हम, अपना जीवन स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर
शिक्षा और परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बात।
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम, अपना जीवन स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम, स्वयं बने हम,
Before going to break, we are discussing about what is environmental degradation. We also discuss about exploitation of natural resources and also population growth, urbanization, deforestation and mining has adversely affected the environment. So now we move to the industrialization that also leads to environmental degradation in the form of, you can see the graphic, use of raw material which are fast depleting, scarcity of these natural resources and mineral resources generate toxic gases and liquid effluents that are hazardous. This leads to the environmental degradation. Accelerated use of fossil fuel is depleting their limited stocks and generate profuse quantity of waste disposal of these waste requires land, and this also impact our health. So we can say नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज जब इंडस्ट्री ने यूज़ किया तो उससे रिसोर्सेज डिप्लीट होती हैं, रैपिडली डिप्लीशन है। इंडस्ट्रीज जनरेट बहुत सारा टॉक्सिक वेस्ट और लिक्विड एफ्लुएंट जो कि इन्वायरमेंटल डिग्रेडेशन को लीड करता है। और इन्वायरमेंट जब इंडस्ट्रीज से जो वेस्ट जनरेट होता है वो इन्वायरमेंट में एक पाइल के रूप में वेस्ट पड़ा रहता है। और जब ये जो वेस्ट इंडस्ट्रीज़ ने जो रिलीज़ किया, disposal of waste not only needs land but also pollute the environment and poses hazards to human health. And burning of fossil fuel which releases carbon dioxide in the atmosphere that leads to global warming and climate change. And excessive nutrient, particularly nitrates and phosphate in water bodies, trigger the explosive growth of green algae that is called eutrophication, which kills many aquatic life. So now we move the next section, that is impact of modernized agriculture on environment. We know it is very important to achieve self-sufficiency in food production. So intensive agriculture may lead to the serious damage to the environment. We cleared forests to grow crops, and excessive irrigation and poor drainage system cause the waterlogging and kill plants. Increased use of agrochemicals or synthetic fertilizers, chemical fertilizers cause serious environmental problems. Unused fertilizers from croplands are carried away by runoff water into lakes and rivers. It also causes water pollution. These unused fertilizers may also seep through soil and pollute groundwater and soil too. We are using nowadays high yielding varieties. So, high yielding varieties of food crops have replaced by the traditional agriculture to improve our crop production, and it was based on multi cropping, that is growing food for food crops, fodder and firewood crops together. Next we move to the urbanization and environment, and we know urbanization means permanent settlement of the people in cities. We see why do we move, why urban people, why rural people move to the cities. There are several reasons, and it occurs due to in search of job, population growth and poverty in villages. Industrialization has spread many job opportunities in city, metro or urban areas, and disposal of improved of transport and communication facilities. These all factors are tracks to move rural from urban areas. So, growth of cities lead to increasing demand of environmental resources, and this brings about several changes. That is, cultivable land was lost forever for building houses, roads, industries, schools and other institutions. Water supply system has to be developed to provide water for drinking and other domestic uses. Growing urban population created increasing demand for potable water. So, as a result, availability of water become more and more scarce. Industries that were set up to provide the necessary goods for urban folk generated industrial waste, leading pollution to the environment. So, in cities, we see black smoke emitted from industries, buses, trucks, that causes air pollution. Large amount of garbage generated and not disposed properly. As a result, garbage remains scattered and unattended. Domestic and industrial effluents are drained into the river and lakes. High noise level are a common feature of urban environment. So, an incessant influx of people into cities and shortage of house result in development of slums and squatter areas. Inadequate facilities and lack of basic amenities in slums leading to unhygienic conditions and social distortion and crime. So, you are very much familiar with the kind of environmental devastation causing various human activities. So, flood, drought, acid rain, oil spills are the common occurrence, and they are largely due to the carelessness and carelessness of human towards the environment, loss of wildlife and their habitat, and extinction of many species. From our country too, we face Bhopal gas tragedy. These are all examples for environmental retort. Some environmental problems or at global level also, problem of global warming and ozone layer depletion pose a serious threat to human health and well-being. So, now we move to the environmental backlashes. They are three types: local, regional and global. We include local environmental we will discuss local environmental backlash are salination of irrigated soil, eutrophication, Minamata disease and extinction of wildlife species. So, look at the figure, there are four. First is salination of irrigated soil. So, over irrigation result in soil accumulation in the soil as water evaporate, leaving dissolved soils in soil. Progressively, it makes the soil alkaline and unfit for cultivation. Second local backlash is eutrophication, action of aerobic bacteria on organic waste entering water body releases plant nutrients like phosphates and nitrates. These promotes algal growth, which is called algal bloom. This phenomena is called eutrophication. Algae consume all oxygen and aquatic animals die due to lack of oxygen. Third is Minamata disease. Plastic, caustic soda, fungicides and pesticides factories release mercury along with other effluents in the nearby water bodies, and mercury enters food chain through bacteria, through algae, through fish and through humans. When bacteria consume algae, algae consume bacteria, fish consume algae and human consume fish. So, human consuming fish get poisoned by mercury and it became fatal in many cases. It was first reported in Minamata and thus is the name of the disease. This is the name of the disease. Next is extinction of wildlife species. So, number of tigers and lions and many other wild animals lived in forest has dwindled. The great Indian bustard is endangered and the list of threatened plants and animals is ever increasing. Bombay duck, a favorite fish found in abundance in Kalu river in Mumbai, once lost forever, and this is all due to pollution of the river by industrial waste. So, now we move to regional environmental backlash: flood, drought, acid rain and oil spill. So, floods are the natural disaster and India is prone to flood cause heavy loss in terms of habitation, cultivation and other economic activities. Such areas also run short for potable water. Second is drought, rise in temperature, global temperature. Average global temperature due to global warming will increase use of water leading to water shortage. Failure of monsoon pose additional pressure. It is estimated that 30 degrees life, agriculture, industries and human life equally. Next is acid rain. Pure rain has and petroleum products spill into sea. A thin layer of the oil covers sea surface, cutting off oxygen for a marine organisms. Floating oil slicks kills marine life and severely affects ocean ecosystem. Now move to the environmental backlash, that is global, which include loss of biodiversity, global warming and greenhouse effect and ozone layer depletion. First, we will talk about loss of biodiversity. We know many herbal products for cosmetics and medicines were obtained from forest. Any wild animal were forest dweller. Deforestation has led to the loss of many species. Global warming and greenhouse effects, we all are experiencing a change in climate. Summers are very hot, winters colder than they used to be and monsoon erratic. Global warming is due to greenhouse gases emission, especially carbon dioxide, which has accumulated in the air beyond normal proportion. And it also has caused melting of glaciers, heating up of oceans surface, leading to collapse in marine fisheries. Next is ozone layer depletion. Layer of ozone that protects us from UV rays from sun. These ozone layer in earth atmosphere prevents harmful UV radiations from sun from reaching earth surface, and CFC, chlorofluorocarbons used in refrigeration, air conditioning, cleaning solvent, fire extinguishers and aerosols, or have also damaged the ozone layer or ozone shield, particularly over the Arctic and Antarctic regions. 30 to 40% reduction in the ozone layer may cause sunburn, fast aging of skin, skin cancer, cataract, cancer of retina, genetic disorder and reduced productivity in sea and forests. So, now we move the next section, that is environmental degradation is a threat for survival. We know various human activities are caused irreparable damage to land, air and water, and consequently to the organisms that inhabit them. Primitive humans struggle with nature for their survival, as we already covered in the earlier lessons. So, as human become more civilized and through the progress of science and technology, they created various luxuries of comfortable living. So, population explosion coupled with human greed for progressive prosperity and comfort has exploited the environment mercilessly to such a large extent that human survival itself is now threatened. So, contaminated food, water and air is taking its toll on human health. Toxic chemicals and harmful radiations have the potential of causing serious problems of human health. So, now we are coming to close this discussion in the form of what you have learned. We depend on environment for survival, as it gives us oxygen to breathe, food to eat and water to drink. We also get fiber, medicines, fuel from the environment. As growth of human population, spread of became agrarian culture and industrialization led to the environmental degradation in two ways. First, depletion of natural resources, and second, pollution of the environment, which include air, water, soil and many other. Natural resources have been depleted through deforestation, excessive use of fossil fuel, mining. Air has been polluted by toxic gases emitted from motor vehicles, toxic waste discharge into water bodies. Better medicinal facilities and food for all has increased longevity and cut down infant mortality and death due to epidemics. This has resulted in increase in population. Demand of increasing population, like land for housing and cultivation of food crops, industrialization, fossil fuels and as source of energy resources for industries and homes. Groundwater have been depleted and air, water and soil polluted. Humans have cut down trees and cleared forests to obtain firewood and timber and to get agriculture and human settlements, and so deforestation has resulted in serious loss of biodiversity. Modernized agricultural practices have provided food for teeming millions, but created problems of land erosion, environmental pollution from fertilizers and pesticides. Humans have moved from village to cities in search of better employment opportunities, education and health facilities, resulted in formation of slums which suffer from unhygienic conditions. The consequences of depleting natural resources and environmental pollution are looking the face of human. Examples can be Bhopal gas tragedy, Minamata disease, flood, drought, oil spill and collapse of marine fisheries at the regional level. backlash of at the global level is represented by global warming, ozone layer depletion and loss of biodiversity. In a nutshell, we can say human survival itself is threatened due to the damage done to the environment by humans themselves. So, this is all about today's discussion, degradation of environment, natural environment. Now, we will come again to meet you in new program of environmental science. Till then, goodbye and thank you.